In 1853, the Halifax Improvement Act empowered the building of a town hall, law courts and a police station. In 1856, schemes were put forward, including these two for a site at Ward's End by George Wilson Stevenston, then borough engineer, and Sir George Gilbert Scott. In 1858, the present site was chosen, and this is believed to be a picture of a house which originally stood on the site, called Swan Coppice. In 1859, Sir Charles Barry, designer of the Houses of Parliament, was commissioned to design a town hall and submitted 14 sketches. Here are some examples. These look remarkably like the building which we have today. Sir Charles Barry brought in his son E.M. Barry to work with him, and he took over the project when his father died the following year. By the middle of 1863, the building was virtually complete at a cost of £50,000, which took 70 years to pay off. The Prince and Princess of Wales accepted an invitation to open the building on the 4th of August 1863. Unfortunately, the Princess was prevented from coming by illness. The day before, the Prince arrived at Halifax station by special train and visited several factories in the town, followed by a banquet at Manor Heath. The following day, the Prince and local dignitaries processed to the town hall, and after short speeches, the building was declared open. Later, a loyal address was read to the Prince by the town clerk in the Victoria Hall, the largest room in the building. All the planning and arguing took place in the original council meetings in Cheapside, or, as it was then called, Back Lane. This gave rise to the name of the Back Lane Parliament. Come with us now for a tour of the town hall as it is today. This was the entrance to the original police station up to 1900. Coming along this corridor, we can still see some of the original cells, with bolts, ironwork, and even a spy hole. At this point, originally a staircase led up to the courthouse. In 1901, a new floor level was added, and the top part became a council chamber, on the outside of which are many stained glass windows. The holy face on the door was once supposed to be the origin of the name Halifax. The council chamber is panelled in dark mahogany and the seats covered in green leather. It's used for full council meetings every 6 weeks. In the centrepiece of the stained glass ceiling is the original coat of arms of Halifax with the inscription in Latin. The chamber provides seating for committee chairmen, councillors, council officials, press and public. The coat of arms of Calderdale is above the mayoral seat. Above each door is an ornate lintel. Leaving the council chamber, a short walk along the balcony of the Victoria Hall, with its ornate iron balustrade, with panels showing the Holy Face, passes richly decorated arches and portraits of past mayors. Below the glass cove are cherubs supporting shields bearing the devices of the constituent parts of the British Isles. Above the doorways are more cherubs and decorative plaster panels set between fluted pilasters. At the far end of the gallery is the Mayor's Parlour, designed as a main reception room and used by the mayors as their office. It has a magnificent coffered plaster ceiling in the Italian Renaissance style. There is a large work table and chairs in light oak. The Ludenscheid plaque represents the twinning of that town with Brighouse. All the items of furniture and the ornate fireplace are in light to medium oak. The watercolour by E.M. Barry is entitled Town Hall Completed. The sideboard contains the Calderdale silver, inherited from all the constituent authorities which made up the district. The rugs bear the coat of arms of Halifax, Halifax, Nova Scotia, and our German twin town, Aachen. They were made locally. The present silver mace, used to denote the authority of the mayor, originally belonged to Brighouse before the reorganisation in 1974. These are the mayoral chains of the original boroughs of Halifax, Todmorden and Brighouse, together with two mayoresses' chains. The medal on the main one now bears the Calderdale coat of arms. The Mayor's Parlour contains the certificate of the Royal Coat of Arms for the Borough of Halifax. The Royal Charter for the new Borough of Calderdale, and the Coat of Arms certificate for Calderdale. Moving next door, we come to the councillor's dining room. Originally, this room was of much greater importance, since it was designed as the council chamber and served that purpose until the law courts were converted in 1901. Double doors make it into an extension of the Mayor's Parlour, hence Barry's fine plaster ceiling. Note the unusual Victorian radiator. Passing along the top of the Victoria Hall, one can look over the balcony to the floor below. The floor is stone and the centrepiece is the Halifax coat of arms, laid in 1963. Around the edge are a series of the old unauthorised Halifax coats of arms. Through a small doorway is an old, dingy flight of steps leading up into the tower. Through another door is the timepiece. The clock and bells were installed in 1862 to 1863 and the system was updated in the 1920s. It was electrified in 1963 after a century of being wound by hand. It was built by William Potts and Sons of Leeds and is still maintained by them. The clock faces are illuminated at night. Steps lead up to the top of the pinnacle, 180 feet above ground level. Unusually, the bells are on the floor below the clock. There are 4 quarter bells weighing 12, 14, 15 and 18 hundredweights. The hour bell weighs 4 tons and is the 11th largest in the country. The bell hammers are controlled by the cables which can be seen at the bottom of the picture. Having descended the bell tower, we leave the balcony of the Victoria Hall, passing pictures of King Alfred playing in the Danish camp. The staircase is lit from the large dome above, which is made up of blue glass sections with a pattern of gold stars. The familiar H motif is once again in evidence on the handrail. Ornamental plasterwork is everywhere and is both varied and of good quality. Downstairs in the Victoria Hall is the original mayoral chair designed by E.M. Barry with the Holy Face on the back. There are more cherubs over the doors. The main part of the staircase leads to the main door. Around the outside of the building, one can see the original cell windows. This is the balcony outside the mayor's parlour. The plaster relief work on the inside is repeated in stone on the outside and was carved by John Thomas for the princely sum of £2,000. The porticoed entrance carries the old Halifax coat of arms on 3 sides, each carved 4 feet high in deep relief. Above them are the heads representing wisdom, justice and mercy, each with a suitable inscription. The best view of all is from the car park of the building across the street. The town hall covers an area of 148 by 90 feet and is built from 24,000 tons of local stone.